Hi everybody, Daman Mehta here, and thank you for once again joining me on my journey as I go through my favorites list on fanfiction.net. I believe this one... Yes, so this video will be finally ending the year of 2010, stories from the year of 2010, and we'll be going into the year of 2011. So yay! Hooray! Progress is being made. Oh boy. Once again, like I said, thanks for joining, and I'll put this up right now. If you're interested in any of these stories, links to all the stories that I'm about to talk about are in the description down below. For those of you that don't know what I'm doing, I've been reading fanfiction for over 15 years now, and the main site that I used to read fanfiction on, I still read there, but not as often now, is fanfiction.net, and my favorites list bloated to over 1,200 stories, so I've been rereading them and seeing if they still deserve to stay on my list or not. Again, like I said, links to all these stories are in the description below, as well as links to a playlist of all of the reviews that I've done, and a forum where I post my reviews in a written medium, as well as embedding the videos as well if you want to see it there. So yeah, let's dive in. So the first story for this is The Medic of Konoha II by Aries88. And this is a sequel fic to a story called Medic of Konoha, which I did enjoy a lot, and it's one that doesn't go anywhere. So this story is this sequel is incomplete and barely even gets started. It's only like 3 chapters, doesn't get moving. And similar to another story that had a complete version and then a sequel that happened over like the Shippuden time skip, basically, which was Konoha Naruto's Playground. The sequel doesn't get anywhere, so it's better, and plot doesn't really progress. So it's more like an extended OVA after the original series finished. You can think of it that way. And the other thing that it has in common with the other sequel is that I enjoyed this a lot, because it's just a lot of since the plot is not really rolling forward, it's more just a lot of jokes and like funny scenes just crammed into a couple situations. And like I said, I liked it a lot. It has a lot of, the style of humor is the same as the original story, which I still enjoyed, and it kept it on my list. So this one will also stay on my list. But for those expecting something more, don't. It's just a small bit of collection that really works more as a companion piece to the original rather than something that can stand on its own. Number 2 for this video is A Nihilistic Blade in the Hidden World by the Emerald Blight. And this is a Naruto story where Naruto dies. He gets executed after the Sasuke retrieval mission brings back Sasuke, but he's a bit beaten up, so they kill him. And then he becomes Ulquiorra Schiffer. I didn't watch Bleach that far, so I don't know how to pronounce his name, but he becomes the 4th Espada, the back guy. And then, all of that stuff, Bleach happens, and then when Ichigo kills him, he ends up coming back like 3 years after he died, another Shippuden time skip, back to the ninja world, and starts helping around, helping the rebels and stuff like that. This story is also incomplete, and will basically be forever incomplete. This one's not like where he just stopped. The last chapter ends with a thing where I'm not writing this anymore, so it's canceled, this story. And that means a lot of the story beats that he was writing never pay off, which is a shame, because a lot of stuff happened in this story. And even though there's a bunch of transitions and stuff, it still feels like it's stuck in its first arc. And when I say transitions, there's a whole set of chapters where Naruto basically gets put in a near-death state, and then ends up back in Bleach universe, and has a bit where he's learning about himself and like a mini arc of that. But so it would feel like, oh, there's multiple arcs. Like you have this mini arc, you have this arc, you have this arc, you have this arc. But the problem is, like every event in this story, that arc just feels like a smaller stepping stone that is part of a bigger story. Like that arc, if this was an anime, that whole bit of Karakura, even though it takes multiple chapters, would feel like it's just one episode. So it doesn't feel important, even though it should be. It's weird, like it's just, there's a lot of stuff happening, but it goes by so fast. It doesn't even go by so fast, because like I said, some of these take multiple chapters. It just doesn't have, it feels like it lacks impact, because none of it feels important. They all feel like, oh, here's, this whole thing is happening, but that's really just one step towards the main goal of Naruto saving and like building a new village and saving the whole world and stuff like that. So that just, because of that, you don't really get any narrative, any like conclusions of the arcs, and so you don't get that emotional satisfaction from that. Character-wise, it's a bit fun, because, Naruto has now devolved completely into the Espada personality, and he keeps that personality, and before he was like canon Naruto. So the personality shift is very different, and Naruto's friends having to deal with this are rather fun. And like I said, like the beats that were coming up with how he was rebuilding this new village after Konoha betrayed him, and like dealing with the betrayers in Konoha, that was all interesting, and it seemed like it was going somewhere cool. But because the story's canceled, we're never going to get to see it. And so it just leaves you feeling empty and unsatisfied. And this one is not going to stay on my list. Third story for this video is Fuzzy Wuzzy Protector by Super Saiyan Gokillo, or ssjgokillo. And this is a Harry Potter story. I believe it takes place after his fourth year. It's during the summer of it, before his fourth or fifth year. I'm not sure which one. I can't remember. And it's a story where Harry, like in the summer, just tries to become animagus. Okay, it's fourth year. I didn't read further. He tries to become an animagus and ends up getting stuck in his animagus form and can't talk. And he's the form of a crumple-horned Snorkak. This story's very incomplete, and similarly, nothing really gets done before the story just runs out of steam. The chapters are a little bit amusing, but again, there's no substance, no big actions. It's just Harry jumping from a couple places. There's like one or two scenes with like him interacting with Luna and her reacting to a crumple-horned Snorkak, and also him reacting to Hermione, who just treats him as like a random animal and stuff like that, and doesn't realize it's Harry. Those are fun, but they're nothing like super mind-blowing, amazing or anything. And I think it could have been a funny tale if it had continued, but what's here is nothing really. And you can easily skip this, and it's gonna fall off my list. Right. The next story is Broken Birds by Razor Scion. And this is a Doctor Who crossover with Sekirei. And this is this starts basically right at the start of the Sekirei anime. And it starts with the Doctor just ending up in Tokyo and coming across the broken Sekirei, Akitsu, before she gets picked up by, I forget the guy's name, but the little kid, Mikogami, I think is his name. So he comes across her and decides to find out what the hell's going on. And there is a lot of backstory here that we don't fully get to see because the story's incomplete. And the backstory sets up a whole bunch of plot lines that, again, we never get to see come to fruition because it's incomplete. It's just really frustrating because if this is continued, I think it would have been really great if this had completed, because this seems like a very good multi-part Doctor Who episode, and like I said, the backstory that they create for this builds into a lot of the Doctor Who references. Like, why is Minaka so crazy and stuff? It's because he remembers the Toclafane incident, which was like the season with Martha Jones and David Tennant, and like the season finale with that, and like he's scared of aliens, and that's why he wants to build up all this stuff, and he remembers the Doctor, and he knows all this because of what happened, and Sekirei, and like, oh, there's like a future instance of the Doctor who went back to the Sekirei's personal timeline and might have like interacted with them when they were still defending the nest and stuff like that, and there's a whole, and like other things that casually happen, like the Doctor just healing Uzume's girlfriend, and like, okay, so that's now a new piece that's going to be on the puzzle that's completely separate from canon, and like there's just so many things that were happening. Like, hell, right at the end, before when the person stopped writing, Minaka and everyone broke into the TARDIS, and like what's going to happen there, and he's now and the Doctor lost his ability to like universal translate because he's lost his connection, and like there's so many interesting ideas and things that could have progressed, and none of them come to pass because he stopped writing, and it's so frustrating. You know, it's that's the whole thing. Like, I think it's a good story, and the writing is decent, and sorry, god damn. Okay, back to the story. Sorry. I like this a lot, but the amount of the amount of stuff that gets left hanging is so frustrating that it kind of just leaves a sour taste at the end, even though I enjoyed everything that I was watching and like reading up to that point. And so it's not going to stay on my list. Alright. Next is another Harry Potter fic with Sanctuary by Digifruit. And this is a short little romance story that takes a bunch of ideas and concepts from various anime and media, with the biggest one being Haruhi Suzumiya, and just turns into a bit of a mystery plot that goes into pure fluff at the end. And I just found it to be really nice, you know, like it's sweet. Like this is pure marshmallow fluff, like at the end, and it's really just, you know, heartwarming and sappy and a nice little love story that I really enjoyed. And if you want just a quick shot of fluff to get some happiness in your life, definitely give this a look, and it's gonna stay on my list. Oh boy. And okay, so the next one is another Harry Potter fic. The name is Harry Potter and the New Life by S. Master 28. And there is a lot wrong with this fic. This is like, I found it painful to reread. Not in the sense of, and it's things. It's not painful in the sense that, oh, this guy just doesn't understand English, or like is just completely illiterate, or the things are, no, it's the grammar and stuff. I mean, there's still problems in there, and there's spelling mistakes occasionally, but it's not that. It's painful in the like the amount of cliches and like what it does, some of the characters and the points, and it's like, oh my god, I can't believe I used to like this kind of stuff. You know, it was embarrassing as I read this, and it's a huge fucking story that's also incomplete, you know, and it's like, oh my god. So okay, what's the base premise this. Let's just. This is Naruto. Oh my God, I said Naruto. Harry Potter. This is Harry Potter. Post stuff. Harry who saved the day, did all that shit, and then falls asleep and ends up back. Right before he was gonna start Hogwarts, in an alternate dimension where he's not the boy who lived. Neville is, and he has a big family and everything. Okay. Premise. That's fine. I've seen other fics that are like that. I've enjoyed it a lot. And there's other stuff that I like. Harry being super powerful. Yeah, fine. I totally get that. This is a time travel. This is essentially a time travel fic, or an alternate. It's stuff like that. And he's done all this shit. Fine. Stuff happens. I'm fine with that. But the problems begin once you go past the premise. Once you start interacting with the characters and you start seeing these people. Like, Harry has a twin brother. Okay? Fine. Whatever. It's not that big a deal. Alternate dimensions. Shit, that can happen. Why is he the mortal incarnation of a god? Or something? He's super powerful, omniscient, knows that he's a god and remembers the life past him, but he's like, oh, I still think of Lily as my mother. It's like, what? Bullshit. But also why that he immediately realizes that the Harry, once he meets him again, is not the Harry that was his brother from last night. But also, doesn't seem to give a shit that, oh, my brother is dead and has been replaced by this new guy. No, what the fuck? I don't care. Your brother, I guess, because the original Harry was an asshole or something. I don't know. It's not really explained. And then, he's super amazing, super powerful, can do fucking whatever. But he doesn't. He does nothing. He's super powerful and amazing. Why does Voldemort still exist? If he gives a shit about his family and he cares about his family, why is he just letting Voldemort live and people to die when all this shit is happening? Why and why is he why does he have to be so fucking powerful? And the narrator and the author spends a lot of time building him up and be like, oh, he's so amazing, and Harry's super strong, but this guy is, and you know what I literally just said, Harry's super strong, but look at his brother, he's so fucking powerful. And that in my mind, that seems to be the only fucking reason why this character exists. To make Harry seem less overpowered. Because, oh, he can't be overpowered. Look at his brother who can, bend space and time and do all this shit, where all Harry can do is just, call down all the elements and destroy everything in the fucking world. No, his brother's way more powerful. And, you know what? Fucking, because it's kind of useless, because the brother doesn't do anything. He literally, all the adventures or stuff is still happening, and the brother is usually just sitting there watching Harry and occasionally being a soundboard for Harry to bounce ideas off of. But he actually does not do anything. Harry does everything. And there's no, and it's not like there's anyone new that's brought in that has to be, oh, this god now realized that there's some shit going on, so he came in, so okay, he has to come in and help because Harry is now way outmatched and now the brother has to be important. It's no, there's nothing like that. So he doesn't do anything, he doesn't exist, and it's just a worthless fucking character that I believe only exists for the fact to make Harry seem less overpowered. And he's just not, and as a character himself, the interaction and stuff, he's basically worthless because he's just the simple emo douche who does not say anything or interact with anybody else other than Harry, and he's just not interesting. And then let's go back to Harry again. Why does he have to? And why are we so worried about? Why would the author be so worried about Harry seeming overpowered? Well, it's because even though he's got superpowers right from the get-go, from traveling back in time, that's not enough for the author. He still has to get power up after power up, and he's tripping over the fucking things. Literally the first what wand does he get? Does he get his normal Phoenix wand? No, that's for Neville. What he gets is the fucking wand of I forget the Azeroth or whatever, and like some ancient super god or whatever, and then he gets another thing that's like, oh, here's this limiter that he had, and like here's a better limiter that makes him even more powerful and trains up his stuff, and then here's this, and then here's that, and all this shit just keeps coming, and it's fucking ridiculous, you know, because there's nothing to match him, so it's like, why does he need all this? He could already have killed Voldemort basically without any upgrades, and even one upgrade, fine, that would have been like, oh, here's a new thing that will make it even easier. But no, he just keeps stumbling on one after another, and it's like, why? You're not you're not making any of his foes stronger or anything, so it's like the way Harry would have any problems dealing with anybody after he gets all of these powers and stuff would mean that Harry is just super fucking incompetent, and that's not how it's played. It's just like, and it would just be completely fucking ridiculous, you know. And so that's there, but that's not the only problem. The character dynamics and relationships are also super annoying. As you know, Harry's just super chick magnet again, and remember, this is him at 11, but the thing is, like, he's a super chick magnet. All the girls want to fuck him and love him once they meet him and stuff, and also we constantly get references to back before he jumped dimensions, that he was a super playboy who I went like with a floor. I had sex with this girl, I had sex with all these girls, and yet he still gets confused when a girl kisses him on the cheek in front of another girl. It's like, oh, like I complimented you and stuff, and I know you have a crush on me, because I already, and this is also, like, that's the thing, like, he knows this girl has a crush on him, because she, like, literally, like, that was stated chapters ago, and then he's like, oh, why did she kiss me after I was being nice to her, and, like, in front of another girl who also seems to like me? Like, that seems so weird. It's like, what? It's like the author thought it would be funny, like, in that scene for Harry to be confused, so he wrote it without remembering that Harry already knew all this situation and is also an experienced playboy, so kind of should know what the fuck is going on, and just decided not to give a shit about character consistency, you know. And in certain fics, just playing shit up for comedy works, right? And it's fine, but that's not this fic. This fic is not even really that much of a comedy. It's a fic that's pure serious. If you want that kind of inconsistent character moments and stuff like that, the fic has to be like stupid, like drenched in humor, like going in the super crazy, like stupid randomness side. So it doesn't work here, and it's just dumb. And you know, and other people just don't act like normal human beings throughout the most points. Like God, like fucking when Harry starts his second year on the train, his sisters come back. Okay, fine. So when he's in the train, he's there with his sisters, and then Neville just comes in, interrupts them, and is like, "Hey, girls, I'm the boy who lived. You all should get on my dick right now." These kids are 11, and even Neville and Harry are like 12. What fucking 12-year-old talks like that or thinks like that's not? They don't. It's so fucking. That's not how shit works. And even then, like, we get a flash, and there's other scenes that people make no fucking sense. Like, we get a flashback to when Harry, in the previous dimension, his previous life, again, like when he was like 17 or 16, like, and is having sex with Ginny. Okay, fine, whatever, they're having sex. But what are they doing while they're having sex? Oh, literally, while she is riding his dick, she is talking about, oh, this is so great. Like, you know, Hermione wants to sleep with you, right? And she loves you and stuff. I'm so glad you chose me over her. And then Harry goes, what? And then it's like, yeah, she loved you. She's really important. She really likes you. You should totally get with her after me. And like, what the fuck? What? No! Who does this? It's, oh my god. That's not how you work that's not how you talk when you're having sex with somebody that, oh, you should fuck some other girl instead of me. Like, what? There are other problems, tons of other problems with, like, you know, cynically Harry being the best at fucking everything. Like, if there's a thing that exists, Harry can do it. Like Quidditch, Harry can literally play every single position he wants and do all this stuff, you know. And also it gets it also gets standard to other stuff. Like, you know, in the books we always said like, oh, James Potter was a great person at Quidditch and stuff, and like, and now his father himself was practically a god who could do fucking anything and play every single position in the world. All the teachers love him because he's such a fucking genius because he knows everything. And Harry and his brother, like, the one thing he actually does is they're constantly attacking and like verbally like threatening Snape and other bullies, and nobody gives a shit. Like, literally somebody like Neville will say something and then Harry will throw him across the room and all this stuff, and everybody's just like, yay, whatever, you're so pretty. And it's like, that works if you're going for a parody. Does not work if you're playing the story straight. If you're playing the story straight, there's gonna be consequences. That doesn't work. And it's like, oh my god. There's one bright spot that I enjoyed in this fic, and that is his youngest sister. I found her to be super adorable, and I thought her interactions with Harry were really sweet, like to the point that it was super sickening, and I wouldn't blame people if they found it melt tooth, cavity inducing. But I really liked her. That's about it. Everything else, the story is, fucking ridiculous. Like, I found it so, like I said, I found it painful to read. Story's incomplete, with the last chapter pretty much being Harry having sex with his mother and grandmother, who turned out to be a fucking like succubus or whatever, which is like, whoa, what a way to close out this story. And like, you should just never fucking read this. Don't look at it. Don't look it up. It's a fucking waste of time, and I'm kicking it off my list. And I would love to end it here, but there's one more that I have for this, and this one's not that bad. It's actually much better. I like this one's called Something Like Your Family by Luan Mao, another Harry Potter fic. But like I said, much better. This takes a simple throwaway line from the first book and takes it much more seriously and makes the world a much more cynical and downtrodden place. It's a line from the first book where McGonagall tells the children that's like, your houses are something like your family, and Harry's family wasn't exactly great, and we learned that's a lot more closer to what the Dursleys are than a real family. There's a lot of abuse that happens in this fic. The actions are usually just alluded to. We don't see the actual acts on screen, but we do see the aftermath a whole bunch. And the story just centers around the magical world beating down Harry again and again and again in different ways until he snaps and vows to destroy it. There's only 3 chapters. The story itself is not long, but there was a big gap between the first chapter and the other 2, where the author did not originally basically wrote it as a one-shot and then had a couple ideas to add on. So that's why like the actual plans for destroying the wizarding world and everything are not at all present in the first chapter, and they become part of the second chapter. The story itself is written in a non-linear fashion. It jumps from, usually we'll see like the end of the year, and then it'll start going. It's more like it follows. It'll follow a story with just constantly flashing back to instances that would explain why this next scene is happening, which is a bit tedious if you don't like huge time not huge time jumps, but consistent time jumping back and forth. The yo-yoing can be annoying, but I found it to be at least everything's labeled very well, so I can know when shit's happening. It's not the confusing mess of just, oh, there's just a line break and now there's just people talking, and then after you read 5 paragraphs you realize, oh, it's for 3 years in the past. It's very easy to follow. The story itself is very dour and bleak, but I think it's really well thought out and well told, so it's going to stay on my list. And there we go. That's it for this video. So with this video we've read and reviewed over 500 stories. It's great. We reached 2011. That's another milestone that we're going forward. And thank you again for joining this journey of mine. If you want to read any of these, even though I really suggest you don't read Harry Potter and the New Life, Links are in the description. Just just avoid that one. But if you really want to, there's a link down there. Like I said, links to the videos and the forums are also there, as well as my my fanfiction.net profile if you want to just see what else is on my list. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this, leave a like. If you comment, or subscribe if you want to be notified when I post the next one. And thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.